Welcome back, guys. I was notified that the demo video I put up for the new Paternoster rig didn't come out in the correct format, so it was portrait instead of landscape, so it was very difficult to see. So what I wanted to do is just quickly re-record. I won't do the whole rig because it's already done here in front of me, but I will demonstrate the two important new additions and how to tie those, and also fix up from a previous knot. I mentioned the polymer knot and I was actually tied it incorrectly, and I wanted to do it again, but make sure I demoed it correctly. So in front of me we have the rig I did up earlier, and I kept this because this is mine. I actually want to use this one. Once again, I put the popper there. It doesn't have to be there, that's just a personal preference. Same with the beads, the Luma beads, personal preference. That's just mine for my stuff. The important portion that I wanted to note out was the new change from the normal dropper loop to a T knot. So this is basically it looks like a three-way swivel basically, and has the same sort of construct. Helps avoid any tangles or the line and the hooks from getting all tangled up as you attach things. So as you can see in the video with this one, it's simply when I do the knot, you'll see how it comes out further, these sort of round sort of wraps, and then you'll have wraps going this way, and the purpose of that is, one, so you can simply attach things like I do if I wanted to, by say clipping on a gang hook, or if I want to just attach a hook directly onto this line, you can do that. With this particular knot, you can also, if you want to cut that and tie a knot, something directly onto that as a single strand, but it won't muck up the entire rig. Here's the now I made a space between the two that's roughly, well, looks about 40 centimeters. I make it long enough so that when I attach whatever rig I'm putting at the top, so gang, or if I put, say, one of the new Nomads like replica fishy swim fishes, that it should, wherever it is when you run it up, shouldn't be any lower than the next loop down, to avoid that getting tangled with the next loop down. I just prefer that good spacing management. Same with when the next loop, try and maintain enough distance. I was running short, but enough distance so that when you're attached, the fast attached at the bottom, that when you click something on here, it's not going to go past the sinker point. Even if it does float around the currents, I prefer them not to reach down to the next one and risk getting things attached. And obviously, as I mentioned before, fast attaches are great because you can change, sinker types. This is a bold one, or star sinker type, or anything. Right, so that's the actual completed one. Now just a quick demo really of the important portion, which is just a quick rehash. This particular knot, I'm using a 10-pound fluorocarbon for this demo, so that's why it's really thin. So I apologize if it's hard to see for that matter. So you're forming your loop now, and when you're coming back, all we're doing is we're coming underneath or over top, and we're going straight back into the loop that you created, rather than doing anything more. I had another, like, it almost looked like another knot, like another loop, in the previous ones. That was wrong, and that's why it might not come together nicely. Then you loop that across any swivel or hook that you have, and it comes out the top like this. Now when you let go, whoops, I'm just going to feed this thing so we don't lose the two ends. We have two ends, so you grab hold of your two ends and then you pull this slowly tight. And we do this slowly because we don't want to end up with heating up the fluorocarbon and causing it to be damaged, or it to come out of where it crinkles. So you do it slowly. Now if you get any areas where it's not, one area is not tighter than the other, then you just pull one end more than the other until you get a knot that looks like that. So that's a perfect polymer knot, and that's how it should be done. So I apologize if I've confused anyone with the previous ones, but that's perfect. That's how it's done. Simple. Wrap it around, feed it through a loop over the top, pull and tighten. Okay, the next portion is the T knots, and these are the bits I will demo and go a little bit slower for. So first of all, you create a loop in your line, and then with that loop you cross it over cross it over the lines, like your two, so you got the line going up towards the top and the line going down towards the bottom. You cross it over and then you feed it under and over inside that loop. So under and over, and we do this 5 times. So that's 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you should end up with a bunch of twists like that on the one loop. Then you basically pull this slowly tight, once again slowly, so we don't heat up the fluorocarbon until it forms. I'll put my finger in there, it makes it easier, until it forms really nice. See how that's nice and like lots of little, almost like wrapped, lots of little wraps. Okay, that's what it should, first portion of it should look like. The next steps can be a little bit confusing. This is where you're basically doing a dropper loop, but you're putting this actually sits on the outside and will be fed through. So you're setting up your dropper loop with this on the outside so that you can access it. So you cross your, make a loop and cross your lines, and then you grab the bit that you want. Oh, let's get some more this way so I've got some room to maneuver. And then you feed it inside your loop and you start the wraps like you would normally do with a dropper loop, making sure that T's on the outside. And when you go, so you're going into it, sorry, got too much. Let me start again because I had too much there. I was making it harder. Let's actually get more pulling this way. So I've got props. So anyway, sorry. So we grab this one and we're feeding it because I haven't got. When I did this, I didn't do enough on one end, so I might go the opposite way and use the other end. Yeah, this is better. You can do it either way, like see I had it the other side and I was feeding it that way. You can either way, whichever one you put over the top is the one that you're going to feed back in on itself. So because I've got extra loop down going this way, I'm going to feed it in on this side, making sure that the T sits out there. There we go. So we start feeding it in and creating this little almost like a skipping rope action where you're just going under and over this loop. And you do this the same about 5 times, but keeping this open. Okay. Now this is where the important bit comes in. So we've gone around five or so times, and you can see the twists on the left and the right. The important next piece, and this is the critical point, is you're grabbing the T part, you feed it through the gap, and you're pulling it so it just goes on the other side of the loop. And then the important portion is, now you start to tighten up by pulling on either end. So this end and this end. Slowly you will pull them until it tightens. And as you do so, you're making sure that the knot from the T is just sitting just above the line of the T, of the dropper loop, because you want it to be as close as possible to it. So you just got to work it nice and slowly, and it'll slowly start to pull together. One side might need more than the other side. As you slowly start to tighten it, you can notice that it's starting to come together. There we go. Alright, now it's finally together. So as you slowly pulled it in, it tightened it in nicely. Might be hard to see because of this is the 10 pound, but you can see the T loop sits out slightly, then there's the dropper loop, so it actually sits off slightly, like a bit like a 3-way swivel. Okay, so that's how you do that knot. That's a rehash of me making that mistake and showing you how to do it again. So I prefer to do my Paternoster rigs with these T-loops now. They seem to be a much better knot, and when they come together nicely like this, you get a much better knot. Hopefully that demo was enough. If you want me to just demo this one again because it wasn't clear enough, just let us know, drop a comment or something, and I will just film just this knot only. But essentially you should end up with then doing another one further down the line, and it'll end up, looking like this. Okay, where you've got the rings and the dropper loop pulled tight, not going anywhere. Then put your fast attach on the bottom. Simple, straightforward, and away you go. So good luck, and hopefully you catch some fish from that. Thank you everyone, bye.